shot. The unpredictable whirl-away closing the gap.
Brown and Citation head and head, and it looks like Eddie Arkell has got his derby. They're coming in there just like they were the enemy, riding each other close. And it is Citation coming to the front. He's everything they said he was.
In the stretcher he comes and he's opening up again. It's Seattle Slew and he's drawing clear of the field.
The Triple Crown. Some call it the toughest challenge in all of sports. And who could argue? Of the 2 million American thoroughbreds foaled since the 1870s, only 11 have captured racing's three most coveted jewels: the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes. What makes the feat so difficult is that each spring, young, relatively inexperienced horses are asked to take on the best of their generation at 3 different racetracks, in 3 different states, over 3 demanding distances, in front of huge crowds, all in the span of just 5 weeks. To be successful, they must be sound, tough, and lucky, with the heart of a lion and nerves of steel. There have been just 11 winners in 130 years. More men have walked on the surface of the moon than have ridden a Triple Crown winner, and the task gets tougher each year. 2,100 foals were born in the 1916 crop that produced our first Triple Crown hero, Sir Barton. Today's classic generation numbers 38,000. The Triple Crown has been part of our cultural landscape since 1919, an annual rite of spring. It starts the first Saturday in May with the Kentucky Derby at 1.25 miles at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. 2 weeks later is the Preakness Stakes at 1 3/16 miles at historic Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, Maryland. And finally comes the ultimate test of champions, the 1.5 mile Belmont Stakes in New York at Belmont Park, where the final questions of class, courage, and stamina are answered. The concept of a Triple Crown originated in England, where classic races were created in the 1700s to showcase excellence and improve the breed. The English Triple Crown is made up of the Epsom Derby, 2,000 guineas, and St. Leger. The first to capture that Triple Crown was a colt named West Australian in 1853. He would later improve the breed as a direct male line ancestor of the immortal Man o' War. America's Triple Crown evolved slowly, while the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont were run as important individual contests in their respective regions since the 1870s. They were not considered as a series for another 60 years. Travel was difficult and sometimes dangerous in those early years, and the idea of a far-flung series of races was not practical in the 19th and early 20th century. It is not certain who first used the term Triple Crown in reference to the 3 American races, but credit most often goes to famed Daily Racing Form columnist Charles Hatton, who adopted the phrase as journalistic shorthand during the early 1930s. The first horse to win the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont was Sir Barton in 1919, long before such a feat was acknowledged as a sweep. 11 years later, in 1930, William Woodward's fiery champion Gallant Fox won the 3 events. By the time Gallant Fox's son, Omaha, accomplished the feat in 1935, the term Triple Crown was part of racing's lexicon. In 1937, Man o' War's great son, War Admiral, became the 4th horse to capture racing's coveted crown. The 1940s produced 4 Triple Crown winners. In 1941, a huge public favorite named Whirlaway, a flamboyant rogue whose long tail flowed out behind him like a red banner, captured the series. 2 years later, Count Fleet galloped to a wartime crown, punctuating his bid for lasting fame with a 25-length Belmont Stakes victory. Next came Assault, the club-footed Comet, hero of the 1946 series. And 2 years later, Calumet's brilliant Citation, one of the best racehorses of all time, became the 8th Triple Crown winner. In 1950, the Triple Crown was at long last formally recognized by racing's hierarchy. That year, the Thoroughbred Racing Associations commissioned Cartier to craft a magnificent three-sided vase to honor the winners. The trophy would sit untouched for 23 years before another name was engraved upon it. While the 1950s and 60s produced not a single Triple Crown hero, the following decade was a different story. The 1970s became a Triple Crown showcase with a trio of winners in a 6-year span. The incomparable Secretariat won both the Derby and Belmont in track record times in 1973, taking the Belmont by a stunning 31 lengths.
An unbelievable, an amazing performance.
Seattle Slew in 1977 was the first undefeated winner of the Triple Crown, and Affirmed won the crown in 1978 after 3 epic battles with Alydar, including a heart-stopping head victory in the Belmont. 3 of the best racehorses in the history of sport. It was an embarrassment of riches that put horse racing square in the national spotlight. And then, it stopped. A generation of today's young racing fans has yet to witness a Triple Crown sweep. 30 springs have passed since Affirmed's triumphant march through the 1978 Classics. 31 since Seattle Slew. 35 since Secretariat raced like a tremendous machine to an iconic Belmont victory. With the death of Seattle Slew in 2002, America was without a living Triple Crown winner for the first time in more than 8 decades. Since Affirmed, we have been teased with electrifying possibilities. 10 horses since 1978 have won the Kentucky Derby and Preakness, only to fall short in the Belmont Stakes. It has been a long, dry spell without a Triple Crown winner, the longest on record. But hope springs eternal in the sport of kings, and each spring the story renews itself. With anticipation, racing fans look hopefully, longingly for that one special horse who will rise to the challenge to join the pantheon of greats by capturing the toughest feat in all of sports, the Triple Crown.